Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the iRacing Today radio show for today, which is July the 10th, 2000 and we'll go with 14. I am your host, Trevor. Welcome into the show. I hope everybody's having a great time, a great night. We got a great show. That's a lot of great, all kinds of great happening, great everything happening for you. So I hope everybody's having a great night, and we have a great show for you. My name, as mentioned previously, Trevor Cameron. I'm doing all the audio mumbo jumbo. That's why I sound distracted and whatnot. But at least I got this professional looking microphone thing happening. Well, other than the fact that it's just kind of hanging there. But it's a work in progress. But I also have a co-host because I can't do this on my own because I have I have help. It's all about having help, man. I have Chad here inside the broadcast booth with me here. So how are you doing tonight, Mr. Chad?
Oh, I'm doing great. Everything's great, man.
It's great, and your head's blue. So that happened.
I went to the haircut place, the barber shop, and decided I wanted some blue hair. So,
I don't think that's the way barbershops work. I don't think you go to a barbershop and you say, hey, I want you to add hair. Like, I don't think they go, it's like, know what? We're just going to throw some blue hair on top of you there. I don't think that's the way that works, man.
Well, it does in my barbershop because there you go.
The proof is in the hair, so,
Look at the video, man. Face the fact. I'm a blue head now.
All right. Anyway, so for this week, we've got our regular segment. Well, that's actually not entirely true. We got some of our regular segments. We have it's interview week once again, so that takes up the lion's share of our show this week. But we've got some news items to go over. We've got some racing / YouTube experiences. Somebody raced, somebody played with YouTube, and we've actually got a rookie tip of the week here for you guys as well. And as promised, we have an interview this week, and that is with Mr. Jacob Fife from the Integrity Racing League, a league that we've mentioned several times here on the show. And we got Jacob on the line earlier this evening and recorded an interview with him. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. There was good information. There was technical issues. There was unabated laughter happened when things went silly, and in true editing fashion, unless it was useless information, I just left it all in there because it's more fun that way. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that when we get to that part of the show.
By far, probably our most funny interview we've ever had.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like I mentioned, it was. You know what? Sometimes things happen, and you just got to roll with it. So, Yeah. Rolling. Indeed, and your head's back to normal, which makes me feel much happier.
Yeah.
So, moving right along, we will move into our news segment before we get to our great interview with Jacob. And our In the News segment is presented by iRacerstuff.com. iRacerstuff.com is a website that is dedicated to the iRacing motorsports simulation. They post things that they find interesting or that may be useful to the iRacing community. Check them out today at iRacerstuff.com.
Now, don't forget to vote in our latest poll question, which you can find on our website at www.iracingtodayradio.com. Lovely website over there. Of course, excuse me, has to do with our upcoming fun races. And we're asking you about what day you would prefer that our fun races be on. We're not asking for a date, but a day. And so far, we've had a pretty good turnout in that voting poll, and for only being about 10 days into the month. So you have until July 31st to vote in that, and let us know which one you want to race on. And remember that the winner is what day we're going to choose, unless something catastrophic happens. But anyways, so make sure you vote for which day that you would love to see, and Don't just be clicking on random stuff.
Yep.
Trevor.
And make sure that, if you go over there and you look at the results and, it's like, oh, wait, that doesn't work for me at all. Make sure you go over there and vote and get your voice heard, especially, with all the people in the various time zones throughout the world that are going to be hoping to participate in this. So make sure that, you go over there and you vote. It's important. We want to make sure that we can please the most amount of people. So we make sure you get over there and let us know what you want, and hopefully it will work for everybody. That's what I'm hoping. So if you don't vote, you don't care, or something like that.
That's funny to hear you say that, because have you voted yet?
For what? Oh, in the poll?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what, is there a presidential thing? Because I'm not in the States. No, I haven't voted yet because I'm not.
So
I'm still
that
looking at
means
my schedule.
that means you don't care. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I care. I will vote. I just haven't voted yet. I'm not saying if you haven't voted yet, you don't care. See, that's a very key distinction here. I'm not saying that, if you haven't yet, then obviously you don't care. No, what I'm saying is if by the end of the month you have not voted yet, then you don't care. Unless you care and just kind of forgot.
Yeah.
It happens.
That
We're
could
busy
happen.
people.
Yeah.
So, speaking of those fun races and that voting, well, we are doing our fun races probably in August, is my guess. We haven't set down a date yet. We're going to wait to see where the voting goes for the time or for the day and time and whatnot, and see where it fits best. I have some travel dates that are happening in August, so we'll have to make sure we work around that. But we have figured out the details, and that is going to be the street stocks at the Charlotte Oval for 50 laps, and that's the big one, not the Legends Oval. If you want, I mean, while everybody's racing around the big one, you could, I guess, be going around the Legends Oval, but you'll do one lap and get disqualified for going the wrong way down pit road. But you're welcome to it. And then we're also going to be doing the Spec Racer Ford at Okayama, and that'll be a 30-minute timed race. So we've kind of figured we know what we're doing. We just got to figure out when we're doing it. And we've seen some cool, some cool feedback on that as well. We've seen a couple cars that are being painted up for that. A resident paint expert, Scott Feldhausen, has already been hard at work on that. And there was another listener through Twitter. I wish I had the tweet up. Who sent us his the car that he's got prepared for that, and of course he built a confetti car. It says "Boom Confetti," and there's confetti all over the car. So good to see you guys are getting excited for the race here, and hopefully it'll be a good turnout. But for the number of people that are voting, I think we're gonna have a pretty good turnout this year.
That was actually on our iRacing forum post where he posted the Boom Confetti car.
Oh, was it? I thought it was on Twitter. Man,
yeah.
You guys reach out to us in so many ways, man, that I forget where it all comes in.
But that was Robert Wise or Wes or Why, I don't know. But anyways,
Weiss.
Weiss, yeah.
That's what I say.
But it's a solid white car with confetti all over it, and then our show logo, and on the back it's got Boom. So that'll be. I'm probably gonna have to push that to Victory Lane because I think that car is already in Victory Lane just because it's got confetti all over it.
Indeed. Well, I mean, it's already prepared.
Yeah.
So
somehow the confetti is gonna stick on the car the whole race. So I mean, that's pretty impressive.
That is some heavy duty confetti. I kind of snickered. It was just kind of like but you were talking, so the camera didn't pick it up. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no smiley face, but it's which will make a lot more sense when you get to the interview.
Oh my gosh, that was probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to me when I was on.
That's a stretch, but
well, I was gonna say in an interview, but yeah, that was great, really great. Yeah, so I probably won't paint up a car for this. I'm just gonna run a white car because I don't really care.
It's just another race, man.
No, I might throw something like Boom Confetti on it or something. Just something that's happened that's funny on our show. Like I might just put all the famous sayings, at least on the street stock, because it'll show up better than on the Spec Racer. I might put all the famous sayings we have, like space and Boom Confetti and What's some of the other ones we've had, like uh, dinosaurs one week.
And there was one thing. It was I think it was last week or the week before. I can't remember what it was, but there was something that happened uh, that I looked at it and it was like, man, I got to remember what that was because that was there was some good quality stuff that happened. There was some good quotes there, and I can't remember what they were, man. I gotta keep better track of this stuff, man.
Yeah, we do.
We need
But
somebody doing notes, you know.
yeah,
You know?
probably on the back of the car I will put the okay go smiley face, which again will become a big thing when you hear the interview.
Oh, but speak. Okay, so we've covered that. So that's what's going to be happening. We'll as we when we figure out the actual date, we'll let you guys know what's going on. And of course, we're going to set it up through the hosted sessions. We'll cover all the details. The password will be boom confetti, all one word when we get there. So make sure you're all prepared for all that racing. But speaking of racing and listener feedback, uh, Todd Davis actually sent us an email this week and kind of got us to thinking because he asked a question. And it was one of those things where as soon as he asked it, I got with Chad. It's like, you know, Todd brings up an interesting point. So I figured we'd just bring it up during the show and see what you guys thought. Um, let's see. I'm just going to read Todd's email here just so you guys you can see it. Um, he says, I think that having these fun races are great. It brings the people who listen a little closer to the action and getting to know more people that have the same passion. What do you guys think about creating a league down the road that we can all join that is based around the iRacing Today radio show? Something simple like you're doing now, but creating it as a league. We all kick in, well, he mentions we all kick in a few bucks towards the league. I'm not really worried about that. I guess it would all depend on how many would be interested in the time. But down the road in the future, if it was a slow maturing process, something like this wouldn't be out of the question, I don't think. Just a thought, guys. Thanks. So as soon as I read that, I thought, you know what? Todd may be onto something. And, this is just thinking out loud process. But, I mean, what if we did start up a league? And, it would be something, there would be a few caveats in there. I mean, we need to enlist help to help admit it because, I mean, I know with me, especially disappearing and being on the road and stuff, I'm not going to be helpful all the time when it comes to stuff like that. And we're both busy, and running a league, as you'll hear in the interview, is a all hands on deck sort of affair where you need people to help you out and to do stuff. So we just kind of figured we'd throw that out there and see if there was any interest from you guys in doing that. And our initial thought when we thought about it was, if we did something like that, it would be creating kind of a safe environment to learn and just be yourself and not worry about things. We have a lot of listeners who are primarily oval and a lot of listeners that are primarily road, and through feedback through various means, you guys have mentioned, that you only do this, and you'd like to learn more about that, the other side, and kind of like me and Chad are going through that a little bit now too ourselves. So our thought would be if we ran this, then maybe we'd alternate, oval one week and then road the other, and kind of generate a place where you guys could learn the other side of the house in a safe environment where you're not going to get yelled at and you're not going to worry about asking stupid questions and that sort of thing. Because I know if we brought in some road experts into it, I'd be asking all the questions I could, try to learn. So anyway, we just wanted to throw that out there and see if you guys had any interest, and just kind of give us some feedback through, all the various means. You guys know how to get a hold of us. I mean, you're great at that. So, and let us know. Do you think is that something that would be of interest? Is that something that might be, I don't know, that would appeal to you guys if we could just kind of create a fun, casual league to kind of race together on whatever nights a week that we kind of decide on. So,
Yeah,
you like that idea, Chad?
I do. I don't really know what to say. You kind of covered everything.
That's what I do, man. I get on a roll and I talk, man. That's what I do.
Well, last week was my show to talk. This week it's your turn.
Ah, true enough.
Yeah, but yeah, I will say though that it is It is a good idea because it will allow us to race more regularly if we get it going with everybody, and I think it would be a lot of fun, and it would allow, like he kind of mentioned there, it would allow listeners of the show to connect with other listeners of the show in one spot, and like you were saying, in a safe environment, and it would kind of, I don't know, bring everybody together, that circled around the show, but it, instead of being on the show and involved with the show, we'd just be on the track, doing what we're talking about on the show.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we've enjoyed all the different ways that we interact with you guys. So, I don't know, why not interact on the track, which is what the entire thing's all about in the first place. So,
Exactly. Now, moving right along with our In the News segment, and I'm changing it this week. Not going to do so anyways. Don't forget that the iRacing Indianapolis 500 Take 2, which is coming our way next weekend, July the 18th, 2014. That race will go off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or 0000 GMT Saturday. And then they'll do another one on July the 19th, 2014, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, or 1800 GMT Saturday. Details about the race can be found, of course, on the members' website in the forums or on the press page, or over at iRacerstuff.com, and we'll, of course, put a link in the show notes to make it a little bit easier for you guys to find it. But iRacing seems very confident that they've addressed their issues, so hopefully uh, everything will go smoothly this time. It is looking promising that I'll be able to do the Friday night race, and I will be, of course, if regardless of which day I did it on, I will be streaming it. So it looks like I'll be doing it Friday, and I'll be streaming the race. I believe that I'm prepared for this now. Last time it was kind of a new experience for me, but now that I did that fun race that we did, the 300 one, and I got on the other night and did some practice. It's the first time I've been in the IndyCar since that 300 race. So, like, I don't know, a month or two has gone by, and jumped back in the car and was immediately comfortable again. So I was like, all right, I got this now. So hopefully the race will go off without any issues, because I honestly have had a blast driving the IndyCar in Indianapolis in the time that we've spent practicing and then doing that 300 race. So I'm looking forward to doing this, and I'm hoping and praying that I can go through the whole 500 laps, or not laps, but miles, 200 laps. But of course, also one thing to note, in case you don't look it up, iRating and safety rating are in effect. This is, I guess they're considering this more of a fun race, even though it's not, because it's probably more of a test race for their sake, to make sure that everything is working. But all of the iRating, and it's an official World Tour event, but just slightly different than, I guess, normal.
yeah, and I guess you kind of uh, throw it on as a test thing that kind of gives them a back door of, if everything falls apart, it's like, well, we were just testing some stuff, so it
Yeah.
kind of gives them that out.
Yep.
Still not sure if I'm going to be able to participate. I am in town, so that's I've got that first hurdle it's been crossed. I'll actually be here for it. So,
Mhm.
like I said, the timing of this one doesn't work out quite as good as it did for the last one, because being in a little. But I'll talk to my darling wife and see what she thinks about me locking myself in the basement for 4 hours. And we're gonna have to talk to Andy. I don't know if we got him on board yet to come in and crew chief for one of us again here. I don't know if we've actually asked him yet. We should probably clear that through all the team waivers and whatnot, and make sure that he's available for the time period we require him in. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that since you're the boss, you should send out the email and force him to do this.
I don't think I can really force people. I think I have to pay them first. I think
You
once
you
I have,
can
I, I have to hold something over their heads. It's one of those things where I have to have some sort of leverage, I guess.
Just
Kind
threaten to
of
fire
a.
him.
I don't think you'll care. I
Well, I
fired you
would.
from the team. Would you care? I mean, from the
I would. I
show
would
feed,
be.
sure, but
I would be devastated if I got fired from the team. I mean, I would cry.
well, I mean, being part of the team really doesn't add anything. I mean, it's not like I'm providing, engines and chassis, or I'm providing, track time and stuff. It's basically I have a name, and said, hey, you can use this name too. So
No? Okay. Well, yeah. But in all seriousness, I really don't know. I haven't really talked to him about it. I haven't even heard him mention anything. So I don't know if he's
hmm,
even planning on racing it himself or what.
yeah. So Andy, give us a call, man. Let us know what's going on.
Give us a call. 1-800 toll
911
free.
519
911.
rock 519 roll.
I thought
Lines
you
are
said
open.
911. I was like, what?
No, 591 rock 591 roll. Give us a call. Let us know that you're out there. Cincinnati, are you out there? You got your ears on there. West Coast, are you out there listening? Come on, give us a call. Let us know what's going on right now. Have you seen Andy? I don't know.
Yeah, he's about this tall.
I don't know. To me, he's just like this little head that I see on Twitter. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, next news item.
next news item is apparently the Holden V8 supercar, which is a upcoming vehicle that they'll be adding into the sim. They are saying, um, if we talked about this one coming, is
Yes.
that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we had mentioned it before. Apparently, they're saying that it should be finished during season 3, but they're not sure when they'll be releasing it. So, kind of you'll have it, but not right away sort of scenario, which is
Getting
weird because
closer.
it's yeah, and it's something. It seems to be a trend that's changed with the way that they're releasing content. When it back, a couple years back or a few years back, they were almost afraid to release content mid build. Like everything that came out was almost always right on those 3 month periods of time when they had the week 13 and the build rollout and stuff. They seem to be more willing to kind of roll things out halfway through seasons. And I don't know if that's because because there's so much content coming that they don't want to hold back, or if it's because they're more confident in the way that the logistics work, that they feel they can release stuff mid season and not destroy the sim. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of little moving pieces that which is why they used to do it around the build time. I'd imagine that obviously if the seasons start at the beginning of of the build, so it's if you're going to have it in a series, then it's easier to do it that way. But I'm sure there's probably some cogs in the wheel sort of reasoning why they'd release it at the end of the season while things were kind of still up in the air and everybody's doing week 13. But I guess they're just a trend I've noticed that they've been more willing to do that sort of thing mid-season. So looks like we'll have it during the season, but it probably won't be part of any official series because, well, they can't because the car ain't there. And they're not going to add in a car into a series, a multi-class series in the middle of the season, I would assume. I mean, I think it breaks everything, and people will probably be mad, is my guess.
Probably would be.
Hmm.
So, very good guess.
So that concludes all of our news items for this week, which are mostly centered around us, which that makes me happy. Every now and again, you need some me time, so to speak. When you talk about our stuff. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, not a lot of iRacing news, but a lot of us news. But speaking of iRacing stuff, and us, how was the week out there on the track for you, Mr. Chad? Because I know it was crappy for me because, well, I just got home a few days ago and haven't had a chance to race yet.
Well, I kicked things off with my Rough Cup series again. I have seriously just totally dropped the Global Challenge series and started racing the Rough car because that car is a lot of fun. But it went to Brands Hatch this past week. It feels like that happened forever ago. But anyways, I obviously last Friday for America was Independence Day. I had the day off, so I figured why not
America.
spend it racing? Yeah, why not spend it racing? So I did my Rough Cup race at Brands Hatch, started sixth, and I don't think I actually spun out. And I am quite proud of that because I like Brands Hatch, and it was the smaller part or the smaller course, which I forget what they call that specifically. But so it wasn't
Just
all that
call Brands
difficult.
Hatch small.
No, I think it might be the Indy one, but I don't know. So anyways, I enjoy racing at that particular track, especially that particular configuration, because it reminds me. I don't know. It's just a very short road course, and it reminds me of like a short track, but in road course form. So a couple of guys spun out, which is honestly the reason why I didn't finish last, because I was pretty slow compared to other people. I wasn't like that slow, but I was much slower than I would have liked to have been, obviously. Um, but I got sixth out of it, which I was pretty happy with overall. So I really have enjoyed racing that car. I haven't done my race yet this week. They're at Mid Ohio this week, which of course is another track I really enjoy. So hopefully in the next couple of days I'll be able to get a excuse me, a race in that series for the week. But after that, Monday back in the RCRL again, and was at New Hampshire, and that setup. We apparently were even using the updated setup that a staff member from iRacing had put in the forums, which scares the living tar out of me because the updated setup was wrecking loose. So I can't even imagine what the non-updated setup was like.
Yeah, but see, but you love a setup that's wrecking loose. So I mean, you must have been in your glory, because you'd have a car that you can control because it's all the rear end doesn't even feel like it's attached to the front end. Everybody else be just else be crashing, and you'd be all like, "Ha ha, I got this," right?
Yes, but there is a certain point where I start to lose control. Um, that actually kind of did happen, though. You just basically described my race. Um, like, but I for some reason can never hot lap at New Hampshire. That's okay. I've always raced well there, but I can't hot lap. I started 16th, and I knew that there were going to be a lot of cautions because of the fact that it was so loose. And sometimes, I mean, I would say half of the cautions were caused just by people losing control of their car. Um, and then the other half were probably because they just made a dumb move. But for like, I don't know, that it was so hard, at least for me and apparently for everyone else, to push the throttle down fully coming out of the turn. And like one of the ways that at least that I drive New Hampshire is I drive in fairly soft, like in on entry, and then I kind of let it roll through the center so that I can just attack the exit. And that's how I drive tracks like New Hampshire. And
Hmm.
it seems to work pretty well. But in this race, it was very difficult to do that because it was so hard to just mash the throttle on the exit because it would just loop out from under you. And I mean, it was really hard to save it. Um, but that being said, I did have a very good race. It was very hard. Like the people that watched the stream live, and I had a good amount of viewers watching live, they they wrote in the little comment section, and I saw it after the race, how everybody was like, great run, Chad. You battled hard and everything like that. And that the way that they uh, typed that is true. Like it was a battle. Like I felt like it was only 150 laps, 150 miles because it's a 1 mile track, but it was a battle. And like it was not that I was battling other people necessarily. I was battling my own self. Trying to keep the car under me, trying not to crash. And um, and then this got thrown in on top of it because the setup was so loose. I had to dodge about 5 crashes that literally happened right in front of me.
Hmm.
And that made things even more fun. And somehow there's a couple of them that I really don't know how, but I managed to miss um, all of the crashes, and I hit the wall a couple times trying to avoid them. But fortunately, I only had like 3 seconds, I think, as a max of optional repairs, and still ended up out of the whole race with a zero. That did sound good. with a
Ah!
I still ended up with a zero incident race. I was one of two drivers that got a zero incident race. The other guy won the race, and I managed to drive up to a third place finish for the second straight week. So, but the one at New Hampshire was definitely earned compared to the one at Daytona. The one at Daytona was just kind of there, and this one at New Hampshire was definitely a battle, but it was still a lot of fun because it was a hard, tough fought battle. But to get third out of that was pretty dang awesome. So this next Monday we don't race. We got the week off, so I'm gonna kick back and relax. And I've moved up to 11th in the points, so I'm safely currently in the chase if it were to start right now. So things have been going
Nice.
pretty well.
Excellent. Well, you're safer than Greg Biffle is in the chase because right now he's out of the chase standings, so that's great.
Yeah.
After a wonderful Daytona race. Yeah, but okay. Any other? Was it just the two that you did this week here, or?
Well, I did a bunch of Daytona official races in the Class A series, but I don't really have to
We don't
comment
need to
on
talk
all
about
those.
that. I mean,
Yeah. They all did go well, though. I mean, I didn't get wrecked in any of them. So
excellent.
it was fun. I just did
Anything
them because
rain
I was,
shortened?
yeah. I, I just did it because I was bored and had kind of a 3-day weekend, and I mean, it's Daytona. Everybody wants to do that.
Yeah, I was disappointed that I wasn't here to do that because that's always, like I mentioned last week, is always my favorite week when they're at one of the super speedways, so I can actually go and do official races there. Because though, like I said, those are comfort food races. Those are
Hmm.
you just they're the potato chips of racing, man. You can just jump in and just whatever, just go do. I mean, you don't have to worry about practicing per se. It's a riding a bike. You just get on, you go, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So,
I don't practice for super speedway races. I really don't.
but this week, like I said, I just got back into town here a few days. I don't even know. It all melds together. So I haven't had a chance to race yet, but I have committed that before this race week ends, I am going to go and do one of my Grand Touring Cup races because I mentioned this on Twitter. It's one of those things where I've been growing as a person. I've been expanding my horizons, so to speak, because I've been I hated the spec racer Ford. Then I gave it a shot and found out, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have hated it. And I mentioned the Jetta, not liking it. Now I'm kind of really liking it. So I'm going back to things that I have previously dismissed. So one of the tracks that is in the sim that I have mentioned on numerous occasions that I have a dislike for. I was going to say love-hate relationship. That's not true. There's no love. And that is Road Atlanta. And I think actually probably between Road Atlanta and Laguna Seca are the two tracks that I just cringe at. But the Grand Touring Cup is at Road Atlanta, so I'm committed. I'm going to do at least one race there before the end of the week, and I'm going to figure out that silly uphill chicane turn thing that I could never figure out. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get a race in there just because it's Road Atlanta. If it was any other race, I'd be, maybe I'll do something else. Nope. It's the track. It's that track. If it was one of those, it was that or Laguna Seca, I'd commit to it. So I'm going to get a race in there this week, a little bit later on, over the weekend probably, to do that. Other than that, I'm just gonna. I guess now would be a good enough time to mention. Chad's still doing some great streaming over there on his channel. Andy's doing some streaming over on his channel that we mentioned, SimRacer02, through Twitch and through YouTube. I've mentioned in the past that I was going to be doing some trying to add some more content to my channel. I've put some races and I put the show up each week and stuff. So this week I actually went and did my first non-iRacing related video game stream that I put up there. It was for a game called Crimson Land. It's a top-down shooter thing. I did a quick little 23-minute video of that, kind of explaining some of the some of the systems, how the game worked, and stuff like that. So head over to my channel, check that out. See if you like, that style of a video kind of thing. I'm hoping to add some more video game stuff in there over the future, so I just figured I'd mention that. I don't have any races to put up there, so I put me shooting zombies and spiders up there instead. Maybe you want to break from racing. Maybe you hate spiders. I hate spiders, so I shoot them with big guns, and then stream it for your enjoyment. So. On top of that, just a side note, and I'll talk more about this in the coming weeks, I've kind of been mulling over some ideas, and I've got some ideas for some different content, some different video shows that I'm thinking about putting together. Another side podcast I'm thinking about putting together as well, just a short little thing that's not racing related but video game related. So in the coming weeks, I'll give you guys details on what if that ever comes to anything. But right now, I'm doing a lot of brainstorming. I'm finding myself in a mood where I'm just thinking about different things I can do to add content out there in the video game world. So just throw it out there. I'm thinking about some stuff, so I'll keep you guys informed in case you're interested in that sort of stuff. And then last thing before I get out of my racing experiences, which is apparently the Trevor multimedia update. I'm also looking at making some changes to equipment as well in the studio to kind of make life easier when we're doing interviews and whatnot. And I'm thinking about changing my microphone. As you heard, you can hear the thumpity thump thump when my daughter goes to bed, which is usually right around the time we're doing the show. Something will change into a different mic that has a tighter vocal pattern to it, so it doesn't pick up a lot of the outside noise, to hopefully clean up that signal a little bit too, and mixer board to make stuff easier and stuff. So I'm looking at making a few improvements around the studio to kind of improve the quality of the show for you guys, and anytime I do streaming and stuff as well. So anyway, that's my little blurb.
Since we're going to blurb about stuff, I'm going to blurb about something. I joined Twitch last night, and I think what I'm going to do is when I'm doing my road races, because Twitch has a thing where, obviously, for those of you that may not know, which I don't know why I said obviously, but for those of you that don't know, Twitch is only a streaming thing. YouTube is a streaming / uploading videos, posting them kind of thing. So what is neat is that you can stream on Twitch, and then you can create a video that then automatically transfers over to YouTube. So that's kind of what Andy's doing. Well, I was thinking of, maybe I should bring Twitch into my little setup here with streaming, just to, get it out there more towards other people. And so what I think I've decided to do is that anytime I do a road race, so like my Rough Cup races, for example, I'm going to stream it on Twitch, just so I start getting things over there, and then it'll create a little highlight video, so to speak. It would be the full stream, but that's just what they call it. And it'll show up on YouTube. So, but I just joined Twitch. What I would love to do one day, and it one day hopefully will be possible, is to stream live to both YouTube and Twitch. Right now, you could do it, but it's hard. So anyways, I joined Twitch, yay me, and my name over there is White Knight Pro, so basically the same thing, but just a little bit shorter. It's a condensed version.
Did they have a character limit or something?
I don't know, but I just did White Knight Pro. I just thought that was cool. So anyways, that's what I am on Twitch, but most of my stuff will still be done through YouTube, but I just figured I'd let the Twitch people know that I exist.
Yeah, and Andy had mentioned that to us as well, and I was kind of thinking about doing it, but I mean, I don't. Maybe I guess you can kind of judge, if you're doing some races over there and some races on your YouTube. I mean, you can judge kind of viewership and see where the action is. I mean, Twitch was always the go-to video gaming streaming site or
Yeah.
uh, there's a word, not site, not system. I don't know, it was the place where you always, where that happened, and then YouTube kind of came in, and it was easier to do, the streaming on the YouTube because it automatically archived it. But like you said, I found out, and you apparently found out as well, that you can actually set it so it just attaches to your YouTube account and sends over the archive anyway. So if there's no extra work involved, well, maybe I'll look into it as well. I mean, I think I even have a Twitch account. I just never used it. I think I recorded one show of my old podcast through it one time, I think, or something. I don't remember. But
Apparently, there's no extra work. Apparently, you just have to tell it to go to your YouTube, and it does it automatically. So that's what Andy told me.
yeah,
That's what I'm going to believe in, and hopefully, I'll try it this weekend.
believe, believe in Andy. All
Believe
right.
it. We need a sign. So that's enough of that.
Yes, indeed. So,
Rookie tip.
yeah, we'll cover the rookie tip first, and then we'll head into the interview, and then meet you on the other side and end the show up. But this rookie tip is something that I didn't know existed, and you explained it to me before the show, and I was like, I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. So please enlighten our fans.
Well, you've only been able to do it since about April, which is when I guess it came in the new build. It was. This is something that I think a lot of the oval people have been asking for more so than the road people. But obviously it works with both. It's kind of a hidden feature. There's actually several hidden features, I will tell you that, in a file that is called the app.ini file, so app.ini, which can be found if you go to your computer and you go to Documents or your My Documents, whatever, and then you'll find your iRacing folder. Excuse me. And when you open your iRacing folder, you'll have, just for example, like cameras, lap files, paint, replay, setups, and you'll have some other folders mixed in there as well. But right below all of those folders, you'll have a notepad file, which is app. And if you open that up, this is where all these hidden features are, and it's also where a lot of when you go into the sim and you click on options, all those settings in there, well, pretty much all of them anyways, are stored in this app file as well. So anyways, the feature that we are looking at, if you open that notepad and you scroll pretty much all the way down to the bottom, you'll find a little section that is called SPCC, which is where all of your settings for your spotter pack, for those of you that use the spotter pack, like for example the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack or the Dell Jr. one, this is where you can change all of your settings. And actually, we'll take a show one day in the future, and I'll give you guys the settings that I have for my spotter here. Excuse me. And Trevor and I might have a discussion about that one day, but obviously not going to do that tonight. The thing that we're looking for is called car low high padding equal, and then it'll have a number. And basically what this feature does is it gives you tell the sim and the spotter pack how much clearance from front and back of your race car in meters to give another car on the track before the spotter pack reports to you that you are clear. And the default setting that iRacing puts in is 0.250000, which if you go to Google and you use the little translator thingy to sort out, what is 0.25 meters in like feet, for example, I think it comes out to just slightly over 1 foot, if I remember correctly.
That's about right, because a meter's actually approximately 3 feet. So
yeah. So basically, like I said, you just do that Google Trans thing where you can play around with different numbers and get what you want. So basically, if you're one of those people who wants to be cleared as soon as the car is clear of you, then you want to set a fairly low number there in meters so that it does it pretty quickly. If you're one of those people who wants to factor in, let's say, warping or a car blinking in and out, and possible a netcode issue, and you want to have a little bit more of a buffer before you're told that you're clear, then you want to set that to a little bit higher number. I've heard a lot of different people say that they use 0.75. I've heard some people say that they use 0.50. I've even heard some people say that they use 1.00000. So I don't know if if there's a right answer here. I guess it's more of a comfort thing. I will tell you guys that I use 0.20. And the reason why I made it a little bit less than the iRacing default is because of the fact that I am more of a person who, once I'm clear, I would like to be told that just so I can move around, kind of thing. But I didn't want to do it too low because obviously you don't want to chop block somebody and make them mad. So play around with that number and see what you feel is comfortable for yourself. I actually thought about playing with this over this past weekend, but then I was like, nah, I like 0.20, and I haven't caused any problems yet, so I guess I'll just keep it. But that is a pretty neat feature, and it does seem to work very well. So I was sitting there playing with it on my own and thought, wow, hey, this should be a rookie tip. So there you go. And then, of course,
nowadays,
if you make the changes, make sure you save your app file before you close it out, just so the changes take effect next time you load up the sim.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was the other thing I was going to mention is the fact that once you make those changes, this doesn't happen in real time. The sim has to reload that INI file, so you have to reload it. Do it while the sim's not running, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So
good point.
Okay. Excellent. So, like I said, that's something I had no idea of. I mean, for somebody like me, I would probably set it. I might even look at setting it a little higher, just because I mean, I'm not a mover and a shaker, man. I'm not somebody who's jumping in and out of lines of traffic. I like to have lots of room before I start making moves. So, and then on top of that, it's you made a great point. I mean, if you have less than ideal internet, then it might be a good idea to maybe bump it up a little bit. So maybe it gives you that little bit of a, wiggle room in case, you're kind of glitching out or something like that. So
yeah, and I would, for the glitchy part, or even for a guy like you, Trevor, what you were saying, you don't like to move in and out and everything, I would say 0.75 would probably be a great one. I think that's about 2 feet or somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so
2.5.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So hopefully that it's something that you guys weren't aware of. So that'll help you guys out. Man, I got the lights going and stuff. Man, I got so many monitor stuff going on. I'm going through day-night cycles like as we're speaking. Man, I don't know what's going on anymore here.
Yeah, you're doing a 600-mile race over there.
I tell you, man, I'm endurance racing. So, moving right into the meat of the show. I know we've covered all of our business, so now we're going to move into the interview we did with Jacob earlier tonight. Jake was kind enough to stop by and spend some time with us, and like I said, some things go. It's a great interview. And then occasionally things go weird, and because there's enjoyment there, I went through it, and because there was humor and there was enjoyment there, I left it there. If it's something that's just pointless, then I cut it out and stuff like that, and I cut some stuff out. But if it's something that I think at least one person out there might get a chuckle out of, I'll leave it in there because that's worth it to me. That's I'm here to entertain. I'm Adam Lamberting it. I'm here for your entertainment.
It is
Except
pretty
for I don't
entertaining.
have the funky, makeup and hair and stuff. I'm not that entertaining, but So anyway, I will cue up the interview here, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and we will see you on the other side. And yeah, that's about that is about that, good sir. So we'll catch you on the flippity side, so to speak, although I probably shouldn't have said flippity side. All right, everyone. We're now joined in the studio by, as promised, by Mr. Jacob Fife, who runs, I guess would be the proper terminology, or at least is a co-owner, partner, I don't know, of Integrity Racing League, a league that is run over here in the iRacing software program. We've talked about the IRL several times, as both Chad and myself race there on occasion. So welcome into the show, Jacob.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, we wanted to actually we've been talking about bringing you on for some time now, just because we talk about the league so much. It'd be we wanted to kind of get that perspective of a league owner. We've several of our listeners have actually talked about starting their leagues or what to look for in a league and stuff. So we figured you'd be a great guy to talk to for that sort of thing.
Yeah, you might not think at the end of the interview, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see at the end of it. We end up finding out that oh wait, Jacob had nothing to add to the conversation whatsoever. Oh dear. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I start the interview and then it only lasts about 5 minutes and then I cut back to the actual show, well, you know what happens. So I guess. And unlike our last interview, I actually still have Chad here in the studio. He made me disappear for the last one. He didn't think I could be trusted with interviewing our teammates. So, are you still there, Chad?
No.
Excellent. Good to hear. So, like I said, I mean, I guess the first thing would be, like I mentioned, you kind of, I think did you start the Integrity Racing League and then brought in other people to help out, or was it kind of a joint thing, or what?
It was a joint deal. Myself and Michael Dool started it, and we had a couple people help us out along the way. Well, we always had people help us out. But, yeah, myself and Michael Dool started it. It's coming up on 2 years now, actually, in a couple weeks, I think. We've been doing this, and it's fun. It always has its challenges, but it definitely is fun.
Cool. So, I mean, I guess before you can start leagues, you have to start in sim racing. So, what's your background in sim racing? Did you start with iRacing, or have you been doing it for years and years?
I've been doing it for a little while. I've been in iRacing for 5 years, but I started out with like the first Papyrus NASCAR deal 1,500 million years ago, it seems like now. And, with your little keyboard, forward, left, right, whatever. But I did that, and then I got NASCAR 2002, I think it was, for the computer, and did that for a little bit, and then moved on here to iRacing and haven't looked back since.
Cool.
Yeah, very nice. 1,500 million years ago. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I raced with a Tyrannosaurus Rex one time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, were the dinosaurs out about?
They were. It's a scary place out there.
That was a special code he put in, that up, left, down, that unlocked the T-Rex. So.
Yeah. You thought there were wreckers in iRacing.
What made you? Well, let's see. How did you find out about iRacing? Did you read about it on the web? Friend tell you? What kind of got you involved with it?
Well, I'd gotten, I guess, bored, for lack of a better term, with NASCAR 2002, because to that point I'd only done against the computer or the AI, whatever you want to call it, and I knew there was places where you can race other racers, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So I think I Googled it one day, literally, and just iRacing popped up, and I'm like, oh, let me check into this, and I signed up and I started racing a little bit, and as probably most guys thought, oh my goodness, I'm way over my head, I don't know how to do this. And then as it went along, I got better, and like I said, I've just been here for 5 years now, so it's just randomly, I guess.
Randomly just Googled, said, you know what, I need to find something to do with racing because I'm not doing this other thing anymore. What are the Papyrus guys up to, I guess? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I was looking for something. I read an article. It seems cool, so I just, I'll try it.
Cool. So I mean, now that you've you found it. You've been dealing with it for 5 years now. Let's just get in the nitty gritty. If you could change something about iRacing, and you kind of have a different perspective as well. You're not just talking about from a driver's point of view, but I mean, you also have to run the league and you have to do all the admin duties and stuff. So I guess a two-part question: as a driver and as a league admin, is there anything that you might change or might look forward? I'm the wordsmith here. I mean, that's the thing that's important here. Is I'm the guy I'm the mic guy because I can make up words and sentences that make no sense. But is there anything,
I'm right with you though, so you're doing good.
Is there anything that you might change that to make the simulation or the experience better?
As far as the racing itself, I don't think it's that bad. The one thing I would change is I have friends ask me from time to time about iRacing. It'll come up in conversation or whatever, and they'll look into it, and it's the startup cost to actually get into it, to sign up, and if you don't have the wheel or a good enough computer, blah blah blah, is it can be a little high. Once you get past that, it's not so bad, and they have tons of deals and all that good stuff. But like for example, my dad's neighbor is just getting into it, and he wants he wants the 3 computer screens and all this, but it costs a lot of money to do that. And so maybe if they're maybe more in terms of the opening package you get a little more with it, or maybe if the tracks or something didn't cost so much, something, I don't know, something to kind of relieve that initial cost of getting into iRacing, because if you're on a tight budget, that can be difficult to do. And as far as the admin stuff goes for the league, I would prefer to have everything within iRacing, kind of like a one-stop shop, because the way we try to run the league is you want to try to have as much communication as possible. And we have a Facebook page, we have a web page, and all this stuff, but not everybody has a Facebook. As much as we try to get them to, not everybody goes on the website, or looks through the forums or what have you. And so if iRacing did a little bit better, and they've gotten a lot better since we started, if everything could be within the league page, if I could write a race report about our Truck Series race on Saturday night and put it in the iRacing thing, that would be just go here. Here's your one place. Go here. You don't have to worry about everything else. And plus, it saves us money. If I don't have to have a website, to do what I need to get done, then it just makes everything easier.
That's actually a good point, because I mean they've made a lot of changes in the league side of the house, because before it used to be, I think there was a button that said leagues, and you kind of went there and it says, yeah, you can run a league. Good luck.
Right. Yeah. and like I said, they've done a lot to improve it, and I'm very appreciative, and I use it as much as possible. But when you have as many people who are at least a member of the league, and you have sponsor commitments, and you have that you're trying to promote your sponsors, and you're doing these write-ups or videos and all this that really does go into it. You can't do that just off the iRacing League page. It's just not going to happen. So if everything was like a one-stop shop in one place where everybody can go to get all their information and news and what have you, that would be a million times awesome.
Yeah, actually, that would be, because I mean, right now the league page, like you said, you can look at the members, you can set up the site, the races and whatnot, but you don't actually have the option to, create news stories and stuff. Because I know that on your website, like you mentioned, and on Facebook, you actually do write-ups after each race, and with pictures and all the standings and all that
Sure.
stuff. So yeah, that's a very good point. And as far as the pay structure goes, it's actually interesting, because they kind of, you've been around since, basically the beginning too. I mean, they changed the structure once, basically at the very beginning, where it used to be really bad.
Right.
And we've been kind of stuck in there for a long time, and a lot of people, a lot of programs, a lot of games and stuff that use, well, not really microtransactions, but that sort of piecemeal DLC kind of scenario. A lot of them, as they go through the years and the program gets older and older, then that price point gets lower and lower, but they've actually pretty much stuck to their guns since that initial change. So that's another good point to kind of maybe make it so people might not be so intimidated, because they look at the the initial the cost of all the content. It's like, nope, I'll just go play Forza.
Right, exactly, and they're comparing it to everything else that's out there too, like R Factor, and you mentioned Forza or Gran Turismo, you fill in the blank, and it's tough to say. You really, they kind of give you that look. You really put this much money into, they always say a racing game. And don't worry, I'm not saying it's a racing game. It's a simulation. It's okay.
Do you punch them? It's like,
no. But no. It's so it But once you get, like I said, once you get past that, like I've been doing this long enough, it's not that big a deal. But to get started, it can be a little hefty mountain to climb.
True.
So, what gave you the idea to start up your own league and kind of go league racing, so to speak, with integrity, and what made you decide to start it up?
A couple things. I was in a league before Integrity for a long time, and the league itself ran very well as I was a driver, and I loved it. I loved the people I was with. It was great. I started getting into the admin side of things, and I think we started a truck series on Saturday nights in that league, and I was the admin of it. And you're trying to go about doing things a certain way, and during that time there, at times I would butt heads with the owner of the league, and because I'm trying to follow the rules, and then there was some disagreements. I'll just put it that way. And so I felt, it got to a certain point where I felt that, all right, the racing's great, and I enjoy racing here, but by the same token, I want to be somewhere where we try as best we can to do things a certain way and go about doing things a certain way. And at the time where I was at, that just wasn't being done. And I wasn't going to go and try to, take over this guy's league or anything like that. So that was his league. He ran it a certain way, and that's okay. But after a certain point, I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. So I decided to move on and just start my own deal, and just try to focus in as best as possible on, as the name kind of states, to try to do things with as much integrity as possible. And sometimes that's easier to do than others, but that's the goal. To run your league a certain way, treat people a certain way, and and just create an environment where people can come and race and enjoy racing with one another. And that's the basis for it. And for the most part, we've done a decent job at doing that.
So, I guess that kind of carries on into what I was curious about next. Is so you have that mindset, I guess, with when you formed up the Integrity Racing League. What else do you think sets you guys apart from the other leagues, or is it is it mostly the fact that you kind of set this bar as far as here's our, I don't want to say moral ground, but you know what I mean, like that here's how I see the people interacting with each other. Is there anything else that kind of sets you guys apart, or is that the main thing?
It's not necessarily a moral ground. It's just you want a place where people can enjoy racing and not have constant back and forth and bickering and whatnot. But I think what sets us apart, or what has the potential to set us apart, is the range of members we have who race on a pretty consistent basis. You have people like, take for example Matt Busa, who runs, he does the what is it called now, the Peak Antifreeze series. I think he's top 10, 12 in points right now. And you have people like that who run in the league, and then, it's not to say the complete opposite end of the spectrum, but then you have people like my dad. I can come in here and race with my dad, and it still be fun, and it covers the whole spectrum. So while not on every single race is my dad going to be able to compete with Matt Busa, but he's going to have people in the field that he can race with and get enjoyment out of it just as much as Matt Busa will with whomever else is closer to the front. And so, I think that having that high competitiveness while still maintaining to be able to have fun and be able to have pretty clean races and stuff like that, it does kind of set you apart, because sometimes you have one or the other. And the guys who, want to have a really competitive, league, and you're battling hard and you're racing all the time, sometimes sucks the fun out. And then by the same token, if you have guys who, maybe aren't as high up on the iRating scale, and you just have those, then you kind of lend yourself to maybe having more incidents, or the racing's not as competitive if somebody, comes in who's a little more talented. So we have a good range, and we have great people. We have fun, and, from time to time we have our disagreements, and people go back and forth, but all in all, coming up on 2 years we've done this, people get along for the most part. They enjoy racing with each other, and it's a joy to come and race every weekend.
Yeah, well, and that's a great point, because a lot of leagues are have different focuses. Like one of the reasons why I was racing in Integrity Racing League is the fact that I'm one of those not to top tier people, but I knew that the guys that you had at the top of the chain are people that I could race around and would race me respectfully, even though they knew they weren't racing against me; they were lapping me, type thing. And it kind of, that feeling of the league is why I decided to race with you guys, because that's what I needed. I'm not going to be the top,
Sure,
racing with Matt kind of thing. So
right.
So
and plus, when
User entered your channel.
when you have a guy who's, say, like Papa Fife, for example, I think in the Truck Series race a couple weeks ago, he finished sixth.
Timed out.
And when he finished sixth like that, everybody's excited that he was able to do well. He was up towards the front. He was passing cars, and everybody's happy for the guy, who's able to get a really solid finish. And that's really cool too.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, the fact that you get a chance to race with your dad, that's, and when I was doing broadcasting for you guys, it was never, Jim Fife. It was always Papa Fife.
Yeah, I kind of need to explain that a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, Papa Fife is actually Jim Fife. His name's not Papa, and unless it's me. But
started recording.
But yeah, you have those relationships. So we're not the only father-son team in there. We have a couple other guys, who race with their son or brother, whomever, and it's a really cool to have that range and to have the different type of people who come and race week in and week out and race together clean and get along together, and you have fun in TeamSpeak. If you ever get in their TeamSpeak, it's as I told y'all before we went on air, it's a three-ring circus, but it's funny, it's hilarious, and we say pretty much anything that pops in our head, which I don't know if it's a good thing sometimes, but it's fun, and I think we were able to find a good balance with that.
Cool. Oh wait, Chad's apparently turned into a robot. All right, Chad, stop talking, because you're not doing it well. You've turned into Super Robot Man, so...
Also, better I get my old Nintendo controller out and start playing. That's what it sounded like. I thought I was going to jump the thing and go down.
Or it actually kind of almost sounds like the old Intellivision when they first released the voice chip thing for it. It's like, B-17 Bomber.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's dating myself, but that was some of my first video game stuff, was back to the Intellivision stuff. So, while Chad continues to work on stuff, figure out why he's turned into, gone through some sort of time warp black hole. He was jumping in and out of the channels. I think he's having some issues. But so, with all that said about what you've created and what your vision, I guess, was for the league, what do you think is the biggest challenge in running a league? What's the biggest challenge that you face, kind of, in making Integrity Racing League be what you want it to be?
How much time do you have? No.
I said biggest, not a laundry list.
Okay. The biggest challenge really is that is a tricky question. No, it's being able to create the environment. It really is, to have people of different backgrounds, different ways of thinking, and so on, to get on the same page of what we're trying to do as a league. Because it's not, and I've said this to the guys who race with us before. I can come up with all kinds of rules. I can do all kinds of promotions, so on and so forth. If you guys don't come and race with each other respectfully and get along and do that, then it doesn't matter what I do. The league's not going to be successful. The league's made by the people who race in it, and trying to create the environment to where people enjoy coming every week, and keeping in communication with your members to show that you care, that you want your members to come race. The nights we race, you understand that people are going to go do stuff, and they have families, so on and so forth. So you realize some weeks they're not going to be there, but as an owner or admin, you want to try to make that connection, and build those relationships with your members, so that they feel like they're part of a family. Basically, is what it amounts to, and that's really once you get going and running the league itself, it's really hard to try to keep up with what your members are doing, and okay, well, this guy hasn't shown up in a month, let's say, let's see how he's doing, and or if he's leaving, why is he leaving, or and just try to really stay connected with the people who make or break your league. It really does, in my opinion anyway. It amounts to that, and just trying to hold that together.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And we've talked to other people, who do leagues and stuff, and it's good to hear that. I guess from my perspective, never having run a league, the fact that I believe that the most important piece of a league is not, like you were saying, not your rule set, not here's our race length and stuff. It's the people, because if you don't generate a good place to race where people are going to have fun, then people aren't going to want to race there. And I think a lot of the leagues that go out there and they fail, or at least let's go with don't succeed.
I've seen both.
They kind of lose sight of that, and it's like, no, this is the way I want my league to be run. I want it to be run because it's important to me that we run 35 laps in this, and it's important that we have this sort of qualifying order, but that's not the point.
Right. And it really isn't. I mean, I don't care what night we run. I don't care, what rules I come up with, or what car, or anything. There's enough, even though it's challenging, very challenging, there's enough people in the service where it ultimately doesn't really matter what you choose to run or how you go about running it. It's how do you promote it, and then how do you welcome your members in, and how do you treat them so that they'll stay? Because if you run around like a crazy raging man, with the iron fist, people aren't going to stay. They're not going to tolerate that for so long.
Right.
And so it's really all about trying to find a balance. Find a balance between, you have these set of rules. You try to stick to these rules as best as possible, but by the same token, you you can't, be yelling and screaming at people. You didn't do this, so you're suspended for 15 weeks or something ridiculous. So trying to find the balance is really, and that's another really big challenge too. So that's really important.
All right, I'm looking across the desk here, and I think I see Chad materializing there. Are you there, Chad?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent.
So, Jacob, do you have any advice for anybody out there that might be looking to start up their own league sometime in the near future? Do you have any common pitfalls or some issues that people may not think about that you've discovered so far in the times that you've been running your league?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would say is it's a lot of work. To do it well, you need to be very organized to start with. You don't want to, in my experience, and I've done series within Integrity Racing League that have fallen flat on their face because of this. You don't want to go out and not be organized when you go to post in the forums and say, hey, I'm starting a league, and then you have little to no information about what it's going to be about, because they're going to look at it, they're going to go right past it and not think 2 seconds about it. So have all your ducks in a row. The who, what, when, where, and how is something that I always try to look at when I'm either starting a series or when we started the league, and make sure you know those things. Otherwise, people, if they don't think you're organized, if they don't think you're on top of your game, they're not going to want to come. Just because if you can't do that before you even started, what's going to happen when you actually try to start the league itself? The other thing is you have to have help. You cannot do this by yourself, at least not in the scale that, say, like a RCRL, for example, does it, or a league like ours. You cannot do it by yourself. I have a great group of people around me who help me out to do the write-ups you see on the front page, to help with getting setups ready for the Fix series. And you have to have people who are willing to help you out, because you get in a rhythm of the weeks just keep coming, and we're kind of in that right now. We're mid-season with both of our series, and we just had a week off, which was nice, but the weeks keep coming, and you just can't do everything that's involved with running a league week after week after week. You just get burnt out. So I would say find good people you get along with, and you can discuss stuff with and bounce stuff off of, so that you're not going off on your own little in direction and thinking everything's honky-dory when really you're going off the deep end somewhere. You kind of need to have people to bounce ideas off of, to kind of, okay, that idea doesn't make too much sense. Let's kind of bring it back in, Jacob. Those are the two biggest things. I will say I've enjoyed the 2 years that I've done this. I enjoy the people who I talk with and that I've met along the way, and I wouldn't not do it if I had to do it all over again. I would do it all over again, and most of it I'd do the same way. But you have to be super organized, or at least have somebody who's organized for you, because I'm not the best organized person on planet Earth. But and you just kind of have to take it one step at a time. You don't get too far ahead of yourself, and for certain, don't procrastinate and put stuff off to where you're trying to play catch up. Because like I said, once the seasons start and once you start clicking off weeks, if you don't have your ducks in a row, and if you don't know what you're doing, it can the work can really stack up. Between our admins, on a week-to-week basis, you could put close to 5 to 10 hours a week into doing different admin stuff, whether it's the write-ups. At one time we were doing videos, and that just took way too long. And and y'all know this from doing the radio show, and I'm sure it takes a decent amount of time to put all this together. You have your normal jobs you go to. I have Chris Freeman, for example. The job he has, it makes him work 50, 60, 70 hours a week, I'm sure. And I've been in that spot too. Last year, I was working 60 plus hours a week, and you just can't do all the juggling by yourself. So have good people around you, and just try to be as organized and on top of things as possible. Because I've always noticed, it seems like the first time you don't, update the point standings, or you don't. And I say this now, I'm realizing I haven't updated my points yet. But anyway, that's a whole different story.
I remember seeing a Facebook post saying you'd only updated half it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did the Nationwide Series, not the Truck Series. But that should be taken care of once I'm done with this interview. But if you start not doing those things, they're going to be saying right now, Jacob's such a hypocrite. But if you start to not do those things, people kind of get, kind of go off different places and think for whatever reason, the league's not going as well or something because Jacob didn't put his write-up this week or whatever. Or at least it seems that way to me anyway. But yeah, just be organized. You have to have your stuff in a row before you get started, and sponsors never hurt.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing. I mean, you're talking about juggling everything and whatnot. I mean, you're juggling the admin duties. You're juggling, the drivers, the scheduling, setting up everything, and going and whatnot. I mean, and you also have, you're one of the leagues that actually has several sponsors of the various series and rookie and all that good stuff. So I mean, like that's got to add an entire new layer to it. Where I mean, you also have these like a real business, so you have sponsor commitments. So that's got to add more to that whole pie, doesn't it?
Very, very much so. And luckily, you're right. We do have several sponsors, and I won't be the PR machine that just tries to rattle them off and you're right in the middle of the interview. But you want to fulfill your promises as best you can, because our various sponsors do put down a decent amount of money for a season to have their product advertised and to get sales off of those. And they, you have to understand that while we might be playing a quote-unquote fake simulation or whatever you want to call it, the people who are sponsoring us, they're real businesses. This is what they make their paycheck off of. This is what they do to earn a living. So I try to take it as personally as possible to do the best I can to represent not only the league itself, but to represent them. Because this is real people's money. This isn't iRacing credits. This isn't fill in the blank. It's real money, and it's you need to take it seriously.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like I said, they're businesses. I have paid you for a service. The service is that you promote my product. So, I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
So, speaking of promoting, I guess we'll kind of move over to that. What nights and what car track combination? Like, what does RL do? What can people do if they join your league?
Well, we have two series right now. Friday nights, we have our Be Open series, which has obviously the Ford Mustang and the Impala, and soon to be the Camaro, hopefully in the next build. And we run Friday nights. Both our series, the practice starts at 8:30 and runs till 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then we have our races directly after that. Like I said, the B series is open setups, and then on Saturday nights, same time, we have our fixed truck series. We've been doing the truck series basically all along, and we just started up the B series this past season. We do full-length seasons pretty much. We're following the exact nationwide schedule right now, with the exception of a couple off weeks here and there. And then the truck series is, right now anyway, is our more successful series, and it's doing pretty well right now. Like I said, it's Saturday nights, fixed trucks, and we're start at 8:30 with practice, have hour practice, and go from queue to race. And we usually get somewhere between 25, 30 people per truck series race. So we're doing pretty good over there.
Excellent. Any thoughts on expanding, or are you going to just keep it where it's at for now, or?
As far as the series go, we're probably going to stick to 2 series. Like I said, we have such long seasons, so we don't really add or subtract anything until we get done with the season, and then the admins kind of talk it over. I wouldn't be too surprised if, depending on how the B series goes, if we go in maybe a different direction in terms of whether it's fixed or open, or maybe a different car or something like that. But that's way off in the distance. But yeah, those are the 2 series. I don't think we'll be expanding. I know right now, some weeks we're pulling our hair out just trying to pull two series together. So a third one, somebody might go bald. I know I'm going gray, so that's I don't want to enhance that anymore. But yeah, 2 series.
They do
right
have
now.
just for men.
And I'd probably be one of the youngest people to ever use it. I'm 26 years old, and I'm counting the grays coming in on like a weekly basis. So,
you iRacing.
Yeah, well, it's not all iRacing. I can't blame it all on that. But yeah. So we do this Friday and Saturday nights, and the nights themselves, for the most part, seem to work okay. Friday nights can be a little sketchy, but yeah, I think for the most part we'll keep things the same, especially for Saturday night. We've done, this is our 3rd season we're working on now of doing that, and all in all, it's been pretty successful. I can't have too many complaints about it. For a Saturday night, we get, I would imagine, one of the better attendance for a Saturday night of any type of series, and we're doing pretty well. I can't complain too much.
Cool.
So now sorry.
Did I kill you again? What did I do to Chad? I'm going to get another one out of the closet now.
You're gonna have to get this. You're gonna have to get this.
I think he's having a laughing attack. I didn't know, robots could do that.
It's a seizure, or he's lost his home internet.
What did I say in my response that made him start busting out laughing? I guess is a better question.
I don't know. I mean, you sound pretty serious to me.
Okay, so when you're on your iPhone and you're on TeamSpeak and you get a message, there's a computer voice that reads the message to you. And Trevor just sent me a message that had a smiley face in it, and she read smiley face, and it was so funny the way she said it. Oh my gosh,
that's special right there.
There was no way I could not laugh at that.
Was it like smiley face?
Smiley face, yeah.
Oh man, I wish you guys could have heard that. That was great. I will regain my composure and ask the last question.
Excellent.
Serious face.
So, now that everybody kind of knows what you guys are doing and what you're racing there and on Friday and Saturday nights, how can people sign up and join the Integrity Racing League? And, kind of a 2-part question here, how much does it cost, if anything?
Yeah, people can still sign up. As a matter of fact, just added 3 people this week. Basically, all you need to do is go onto our website, which is www.integrityRacingLeague.net, and on the front page there, should be all the way to your right, if I can remember my front page correctly. It has a little apply. Click on the apply button, fill out the form, and I will get it. And basically, we do have some minimum requirements for the league. You have to be, unless you're grandfathered in, you have to be 16 or older. We ask that you have a minimum of 50 oval starts, so that could be in 50 Legends races, basically, just any oval. And then a minimum I rating of 1,000. And then just like I said, fill out the form there. We'll get it. We'll look over it, and you're pretty much approved. You know, sign up for the forms, all that good stuff. We'll take care of later. And then, as far as the second part of the question, our wonderful sponsors make it so that you don't have to pay anything. It's not a, pay for 5 races or anything like that. It's free. We do have some awesome prizes at the end of the season. Most of the prizes are geared towards running the full season, or at least a majority of the races, to kind of help with attendance. But we'll have a championship. I think the champion gets $100 plus a trophy. You have a Rookie of the Year. We're going to have an all-star race here in September. That if you get a pole or you win a race, you're in that, regardless of how many races you've run, and just different stuff like that. I'm sure I'm leaving something off, but yeah, no cost, and like I said, just follow that little guideline there on the front page, fill out the form, and go from there. We're always looking for new people to come along and join in with the Integrity Racing League family. It is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it each week, even though it can be a lot of work, but I really do enjoy doing it, and I enjoy the people I race with on a weekly basis.
Excellent. So I guess anything else you want to bring up? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to bring up? I mean, we're at the end here, man. So
is this where I plug all my sponsors, like I didn't do earlier?
You know what? Go for it.
Go for it. Okay.
It's free advertising for you, man. It's just one more avenue to get their name out there.
Exactly. No, I do have some good sponsors. First of all, we have Butt Kicker. You can go on www.thebuttkicker.com. They've been great to us. They've been with us for the past couple seasons. I somehow conned my boss into sponsoring us. Hopefully he doesn't listen to this when I say I conned him into it. But no, Pro Powder and Paint is where I work, and they've helped us out the past couple seasons. Grandstand, they make stands for wheels, pedals, and whatnot. You can go to their website at www.grandstand.com. And then HPP Simulation is they do awesome pedals. Very, very, very much top of the line, high quality pedals. You can go to their website at www.hppsimulation.com, and they have some really cool stuff there. And I always leave one off, and I'm trying to remember which one I've left off right now, but hopefully it comes to me before the end of this interview.
Well, it's going to have to come awful quick, Jake.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking hard.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah, I'll keep going. If I have to, I'll blurt it out at the end while you're trying to end. I know what it is. There we go. No, it's not really a sponsor, but we do have a cool promotion I do want to bring up real quick. For each person who wins a race in either series, we do donate $5 through the iRaceforlife.org, and it goes to Victory Junction Gang Camp. So that's a pretty cool deal we're doing this year, and I didn't want to leave that off, but I personally enjoy that part of it because it's, like I said, it's really cool for both series to be able to. We're going to end up donating, I think it's somewhere around $360-ish by the time the end of the season gets here. So that's really cool, and glad we're a part of that this year.
Cool.
Yeah, I was actually. I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because I was thinking about that, and I noticed that after I got one of my wins, I saw that on their website where it had donated $5 in my name, and I was like, "Whoa, that's really cool." And then I read up on your partnership that you have with that, so that is definitely a very cool deal that you guys have going there.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll bring this to a close. I want to thank Jacob. I want to thank you for hanging out with us, and technical issues and all. But I just want to make it known that that's not my fault. That's all Chad.
That's what makes it interesting.
I got my issues out of the way before we started recording, and I had plenty of them. But anyway, thanks for taking time out of your night, Jacob, and spending some time with us and coming on for the interview. I hope, hopefully, we can bring some visibility to the league. Like you said, I mean, we mention it all the time on the show because both Chad and myself race over there. So it was great to hear some perspectives from a league owner / admin to kind of give some perspective on running the league and iRacing.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I enjoyed it, and we definitely enjoy having y'all racing with us.
All right, everybody, and we are back. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that interview, and hopefully, I've hit all the right buttons, and you guys can actually hear me once again. I'm sure the blue-haired man will confirm or deny whether or not I'm actually here. Chad, are you back?
I'm back. Are you back?
I'm back. Everything's great, and everything worked pretty good. It was a great interview with Jacob there. So, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and got some value out of that there. But this will bring to a conclusion our broadcast day.
Our broadcast day.
It's a long show. I mean, it's almost like an entire day. Yeah.
Pretty much.
But again, thanks to Jacob for stopping by and spending some time with us. It was great to have him on, and I think he brought up some great points about running a league and what it takes and what to expect. So that was great to hear. Like I said, I know a lot of our listeners have, in their talking to us, have mentioned maybe starting up a league or asked a lot of questions about leagues. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Gives us some perspective in case we decide to go down that road ourselves in the future here. We've already got one tweet to somebody who was apparently listening live who said, that's a great idea. So apparently we got one person on board, so that's it.
Well, technically two, because Todd came up with the idea.
Oh, true enough. I guess he probably wouldn't have come up with the idea if he had, thought it was a horrible idea. So,
Yeah, probably not.
Well, I don't know. Unless he's, some people are like that. I don't know. They're just like, some people just want to watch the world burn, man. But that will about do it for this week. So big thanks to all of you out there for listening. And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate all the interactions and everything that you guys do with and for us. And hopefully, we'll move forward and get this fundraise. The fundraise is on the, on the go. And then maybe that league thing down the road. We'll see. But remember the show, as you know, of course. You guys have been around for a while. But the show is available for download on iTunes and Zune, so you can go check it out there. And if you head over to iTunes, we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a review to help us get the word out. The show is also available, usually live on YouTube when I'm not on the road and my work laptop is preventing me from doing such things. My work laptop seems to be preventing me from doing a lot of things, including work lately. So I think it's about time to core load that thing and just kill it and start over again. Maybe Google Hangouts will work again. I don't know. But you can catch it out on YouTube live when I'm in the studio or on a pre-recorded still picture thing, which I still owe you guys from last week, over on my YouTube channel at Ratface Productions. And, of course, it's mirrored over on Chad's channel, which is White Knight Productions. And, of course, you can catch all our streams and video game-related information there as well. You can check out the website for information, archives, links, and the polls we mentioned on the show over at iRacingTodayRadio.com. And you can follow show news through Facebook at Facebook.com/iRacingTodayRadio. And Twitter, of course, where we're both quite active. Chad more so than me, but, I'm working on it. It's a process. Over at twitter.com/iRacingToday for myself and /It'sChadlack for Mr. Chad.
And please email any questions, comments, and poll suggestions that you might have to feedback at iRacingTodayRadio.com. And of course, feel free to add myself and Trevor as friends on the iRacing.com members website, as several of you have, and we appreciate that, obviously. But until next week, ladies and gentlemen, remember that the race is very rarely won in the first turn.
But it is often lost there. Good night, everybody.